I'm gonna give you the #1 reason why Airbnbs fail. It's not the Airbnb bust. It's not market oversaturation. It's the fact that people just don't know how to analyze Airbnbs correctly. Simple as that. And in today's episode, I'm gonna teach you how to analyze an Airbnb correctly so that you have the confidence that it's gonna be profitable before you ever buy it, okay? Let's get into the actual platform or the data that you have available to you. A lot of different platforms out there. There's Price Labs, there's Mashvisor, there's Data Rabu, there's STR Insights, and of course there's AirDNA. I've used AirDNA for a very long time. They did not pay me to make this video. The devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? I've used AirDNA for many years, and I've gone in and I've actually checked my properties, and it's correct if you use the process that I teach you today. Now, a lot of people say, well, what pricing tier do I need of AirDNA? What specific subscription? The process I'm gonna teach you today, you only need the pro level. It comes out to about $300 a year. And if you use promo code Robuilt20, you'll get 20% off. You're welcome. It's a lot of people really don't like to pay for data. I don't really know why. $300 a year is a pretty small price to pay that can save you thousands of dollars or make you thousands of dollars. So cough up the money. You don't really want to get into a purchase, multiple six-figure purchase without having very simple data to help guide you. Okay, so the other thing I want to say about AirDNA is, as someone who's used it and as someone who has seen a lot of people use it, the problem that comes up is people tend to use the revenue calculator. This is also known as the rentalizer. And basically what this does is it allows you to put in an address in the bed bath count, and it basically tells you how much that property is projected to make. In the way the rentalizer works, or the revenue calculator on the website, is it takes all the good data and it takes all the bad data of revenue and all the mediocre data and all the okay data, and it slaps it together and it says, here you go, this 3-bedroom, 2-bath property is estimated to make $60,000. But the way it comes up to that number is it basically uses bad data, some good data. It's just not really reliable. So I'm gonna quickly show you sort of how to actually use the tool and how to weed out good data from bad data, and I'll explain to you what that actually means. So let's hop into this, hit record, and I'm gonna put in an address. I'm logged in. You're gonna go scroll down here and you'll see that it says market research, revenue calculator. You'll go to market research and I will put in the zip code. It's already up here, but I'll just show you how it works. So you'll see it says submarket in Austin, Texas. Click on that. And now we've got 16 properties, 16 STR listings. Now the important thing to do is, because in this example I'm gonna be showing you a 3-2, we wanna look at data that is specifically 3-bedroom, 2 baths, because it's a bit apples to apples, right? We wanna compare 3-2s to 3-2s. We don't wanna compare a 3-2 to a 5-4 because they're two very different properties. So you'll hit listing right here and you'll just make sure entire place, house. If it's an apartment, put apartment. If it's unique, put unique in, whatever, right? So bedrooms, bathrooms, I've got this all dialed into a 3-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 2 baths. Now you could make it a 1 bath if you want to, because a 1 bath is theoretically worse than a 2 bath in this scenario. And I wouldn't mind looking at 3 1s when examining the data, but truly I wanna look as closely to a 3-2 as possible. So I'm just gonna keep that there. Now you're gonna go over to performance and you're gonna keep this on view all. Professionally managed, both is fine. Host unit count doesn't really matter to me. You can leave it all there. Days available. I wanna check these 2 boxes on the right here, 181 days to 365 days. And then rating, this looks good to me, a 4 to 5. Now, when I'm looking at the days available, I am specifically wanting 250 days available and more. So when we scroll through the data here, you can kind of see we have a ton of properties here. It's sorted by review count, but what I wanna do is I wanna sort it by revenue. And there's a few things that we're looking for here, okay? First and foremost, I feel like I've said that a ton. It's what happens whenever I'm doing one takes. We want more than 20 reviews on a property. That's very important to me. Why? Because it shows me that it's an active listing. It shows me that it's been up for a while. It takes someone a little bit of time to get 20 reviews. The more reviews, the better, but 20 is the minimum that I'll take. Second thing, I also want to look and make sure that this property is hosted on Airbnb. Now you'll see over here on the right that it's hosted on both Airbnb and Vrbo. That's okay with me too, but what I don't want is a property, let's see if there's any examples here. Well, there's not actually, but sometimes you'll see a property that is only hosted on Vrbo. We throw that out. So if this property right here had just the Vrbo logo on it, I wouldn't even look at it. Reason being is the data is just a little bit finicky, we have found, and it's just not really, it's not the most reliable. So I just specifically look at Airbnb or Airbnb and Vrbo. Now, I also want to make sure that, I mentioned that I want 20 reviews. Uh-oh, it's getting pretty dark in here. Not ideal. Hopefully Caleb can make me look beautiful. Now, not only do I want a minimum of 20 reviews, but I also want what's called a review population. I also want it to be up to date. So how can you actually, what does that mean? So the review population is basically how populated the reviews are and how recent they are. So in this instance, this property has 30 reviews. Click open. Okay, you'll see that the review population here seems to be pretty recent, 1 week ago, but then, let's see, we're in April right now. 1 week ago was the last review, and the review before that was July 2023. So right there, there's a big gap in stays. I'm gonna throw this comp out. Not a recent review for me. That review population is null and void. So now let's go to the second one, hot tub and pool. Great. Let's take a look here. Let's open the Airbnb listing. Oh, doesn't even exist anymore. Great, bad data. So now our top two comps here aren't even reliable data. So now we know that the highest 3.2 in the 78723 zip code at a minimum is gonna make $88,800. But now I still have to corroborate and make sure that even this data is good. So let's take a look here. Let's open it up on Airbnb. Doesn't exist, not reliable data. So as you can see, I now know that these top three comps are basically garbage. I'm tossing them out. So the next highest review, or the next highest revenue is $57,000. Let's open that up really fast. Okay. Let's actually open up the Airbnb. Okay, 465 reviews, 4.8. Let's look at the review population. 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. March. Remember, we're in April, February, January. And you can kind of follow the story here and see that this is actually a full-time Airbnb. Great, we have finally found a very reliable piece of data here. And based on that, just based on our quick sniff test here, we can see that the highest 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the 78723 zip code makes $57,000. It doesn't mean that it's not possible to make more than that, but it just means that, I don't know, the data doesn't actually exist. So, what have we learned? 20 or more reviews, truthfully. I've had a couple of Dos Equis, don't judge me. More than 20 reviews. We want an updated review population. We want Airbnb to be the main host there. Again, Airbnb and Vrbo is okay. And last thing, the days available. I want to quickly explain this because a lot of people don't really know what this means. So I'm going to try to explain this to you as concisely as possible. And then I'm going to head to this wedding and I'll make a part 2 next week. So days available basically means how many days AirDNA tracked this specific property. It has tracked this property for 365 days. So you can kind of see here, the revenue potential is pretty similar, $57,000, $56,800. So that basically means that over the last year, this property has made $57,000. This is kind of a weird example, so I'm gonna go down to the second one and show you. This one has been available for 364 days, meaning this property, the revenue that it has actually made in the last 364 days is $55,600. So what AirDNA is saying is that it's using this data to basically calculate that in the next day, once we reach the full year, when you extrapolate that data out, it will make $55,800. So another $200 basically. Again, that one's a bit of a weird example. So I'm gonna show you one more, this one right here. Okay, so this one so far in the last 345 days, this property has grossed $53,300. And you can see the revenue potential is $55,200. So what AirDNA is saying is that over the last 345, $53,300. But in the next 20 days, it expects that this property will make another $2,000 or so. So you're always looking at kind of both of these numbers. You're looking at the revenue that it's made, the revenue that it can make. But the best comp that you can find in AirDNA is something where the days available are really high. 365 days is ideal with hundreds of reviews, and it's hosted on Airbnb. The reason we want the days available to be over 250 is because it starts to get a little wonky under 250. Because basically what it's doing is it's extrapolating its rate out, and that's how it's getting to its revenue potential. So I'll show you here the stylish and comfy one. It's basically taking the data that it's collected over the 269 days in the past, right? And it's saying, okay, if we take that data and we extrapolate it over the course of 365 days, we predict it'll make this 55,000 number, right? In 269 days or 250 plus, that's my threshold. It's a really important number because it takes into account most of the year. So when you extrapolate it out, it's relatively accurate. But once you go under 250, it's kind of extrapolating. It could be extrapolating the peak season and making it seem like your property is going to make a ton of money, or it's extrapolating the dead season and making it seem like it's going to make no money. So 250 is really like what, 2/3 of the year. It's pretty accurate, but it's still not going to be as accurate as it could be if it was like tracked for the last 365 days. So now that we've kind of understand what's good data or what's bad data, we can just start kind of looking through all the comps and taking all the good comps and taking all the bad comps and saying, hey, this isn't good data. So right out the gate, these three, not good. So what I would do for the next hour or two is I would go into every single property and I would start taking all the good comps and I would start laying them out. And I would try to find which comp is making the most. And we try to find what's called the base comp, which comp is a comp that is pretty solid that we know we can beat. And then we try to find the property that we want to buy and place ourselves in between that top comp and the base comp. All right, this is a process that was taught to me by my good friend John Bianchi. He's on YouTube as well. His channel is called the Airbnb Data Guy. And he really had an influence on how I looked at the data, because I always looked at data as sort of like the art of things. But you know, there's really a science here, and science and art, they do kind of come together. But whenever you're analyzing an Airbnb, you just want to make sure that the comps that you're looking at are actually accurate comps. Oh, wedding time. There will be a part 2 to this next week, or maybe tomorrow if I decide to finish it. Okay, I'm back. The reception was beautiful, or the ceremony was beautiful, and everyone's drinking cocktails right now, so I don't have to drink right now. I want to finish this, or else I'm really not going to be able to relax for the entire wedding. What I was trying to say before I got interrupted was that there is an art and there's a science to all of this. But really, the science should lead. The data is number one first. Whenever you're analyzing any property, you have to look at the numbers, and that is non-negotiable. The art comes in when you can really start looking at amenities and looking at the design of things and pairing that with the data. For example, Funkit Interiors, my interior design company that really designs, I think, the most unique properties in the world, the Pink Pickle, for example, there wasn't really any data. We looked at the data to see what the number one comp was making, and our art, and our design and everything comes on the back end of that, and we say, well, hey, we know we can at least beat that top comp, but by how much? And that's where we start really kind of looking at amenities. Can we add things like pickleball courts? Can we add things like above ground pools? Design, themes, all that good stuff to really make the data start to shine and start to outperform the data. But that's really an advanced conversation for another time. The purpose of this video was to show you how to look at comps on AirDNA and just say, hey, these comps are reliably telling me right now that the 3-2s in this area are making anywhere from $48,000 to $55,000. And then I'm trying to find out where I place within that. There's a whole process to this, and I will teach you that in another video, hopefully next week. If everyone here is like, hey, I like this, tell me more. I wish I had a little bit more, Rob. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll make it next week's video. But the purpose for today was just to show you, hey, if you're gonna go into AirDNA, understand how to even use the tool, and if you can at least use the quick little simple process that I showed you here to really determine what's the good and what's the bad, it will save you a lot of time, and it will at least show you kind of where you stack up from a monetary standpoint, from a revenue standpoint, against your competition. Like I said, John Bianchi, good friend of mine, he taught me a lot of this. I have my own kind of spin on some of these things, but go check out his YouTube videos, and his YouTube channel's got a lot of good informational videos out there, totally free, amazing dude. And if you want my Airbnb analysis calculator that you can actually punch in numbers and see how much of a return you're gonna make, how much of a cash on cash return, all that good stuff, it is completely free. I leave it in the description down below. I'll also leave my promo code down below. Again, it is Robuilt20. It'll get you 20% off of the pro subscription on AirDNA. But get that analysis spreadsheet, because you're gonna need that to take the data from AirDNA and input it in there and see how much money your property is gonna actually make. I've got a video on that too. I'm gonna leave that linked right here. It's a video that will show you how to determine how much money it even takes to operate your Airbnb and how to determine profitability. Hopefully this helps. I know it was a bit kind of rushed and all that good stuff, but I'm at a wedding. I'm thinking about love, okay? I love you guys, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this was helpful. Really, it does help me get served up to other people, and hopefully it can help some of those people avoid buying a bad Airbnb. Catch you on the next episode of Robuilt. See ya.